Hello, I'm Lior Cohen, and this video will introduce you to a reading method that we call stop and think note-taking. It involves stopping and thinking every once in a while and working with your notes to understand what the author is trying to tell us in the text. Your notes can be in your native tongue. It's probably better that they are. Remember, this method is supposed to be practical for you. It's supposed to help you understand the text well. To do this, we'll need to think about the relationship across the notes to help us make sense of the text. We want to integrate the information across our notes to understand this, and then we can think about where the author is going. Before we get into the actual reading, we have two things we need to do. First, we need to look at the title. And second, we need to look at the length of the text to see if it has sections and how long it is. This is going to help us plan how much time we need to read this text. It will also tell us how we're going to read it, how we want to organize our reading experience. Next, we're ready to start the slow reading process, reading a sentence or two, and then we're going to take a note on the side. Taking a note is like a self-check to see if you understood what you're reading. If you see that you're having difficulty taking a note, that might mean you didn't quite understand the text well enough. You should go and read that part of the text again. Maybe use a dictionary if you think it's an important word in the text that is unfamiliar to you. This is one reason why taking notes is so important. Sometimes we feel like we understand what we're reading, but until we try to say it for ourselves, we can't really know if we understood. The note on the side can be a title or a phrase. It's also supposed to help you prepare the text for whatever purpose you have, a maman, a seminar paper, or an exam. You'll be able to find the ideas or information you need easily in your notes. Good readers know how to have a conversation with the text. To become a good reader, we have to learn how to ask ourselves questions that the text can answer. What is this text about? What is the author trying to say about that? What important information does the author bring in to support what she is trying to say? This is the kind of thinking that makes for better readers and better note-takers. Once we've written several notes, that's when we stop and think. We stop and think about the relationship across the notes. What is the author trying to tell us across these ideas in our notes? Where's the author going with this? Now remember, our job is to filter out the details. Our job is to להפריד את העיקר מהטפל. We do not want to drown in the details. To sum up, look at the title, sections, subsections, length of the text, and think about how you need to work with the text. Stop and think note-taking. Read a sentence or two and take a note. Check yourself to see if you need to read the text again to make sure you understood it. Ask yourself, what is this text about? What is the author trying to say about that? After several notes, stop and think. What's the author trying to tell me here? What is the purpose of what I have read? Summarize, sum up your notes in a sentence or two. This will come in handy when you revisit your notes later on. I think we're ready to start reading a text. So first we need to read our title. Robot teachers. Okay, I wonder what this text is going to talk about. This looks like it connects to the image we see here of the robot hand shaking a human hand. Right, so robot teachers. Maybe the robots are going to make a deal with the teacher. Let's keep this idea in the back of our minds as we read this text. The next thing, I need to look at the length of the text. I see here that we have 4 paragraphs. There are no sections. I'll probably take 1 or 2 notes per paragraph, and the whole thing should take me about less than 20 minutes to read and prepare this text fully in order to understand it. Okay, so now we're ready to read the text. If you think of the job robots could never do, you would probably put doctors and teachers at the top of the list. I wonder, why could robots not do the job of doctors and teachers? It's easy to imagine robot cleaners and factory workers, but some jobs need human connection and creativity. Okay, let's stop and take our note here. I'll probably write, robots can do some jobs, but not others. All right, next. But are we underestimating what robots can do? In some cases, they already perform better than doctors at diagnosing illness. Also, some patients might feel more comfortable sharing personal information with a machine than a person. Could there be a place for robots in education after all? All right, so we saw that in the beginning of the paragraph, doctors and teachers, they need to be creative and make human connections. But now we see that doctors, the job of the doctor is already being performed by the robots. All right, so the idea here is, what about teachers? Can robots teach? Can they be creative and build these human connections? This paragraph introduces this question to us as a way of introducing this topic in the text. So that's the note that I'll write to myself. Can robots teach? Can they be creative and build human-like connections? This is a question to introduce the topic. Let's continue. British education expert Anthony Selden thinks so, and he even has a date for the robot takeover of the classroom, 2027. He predicts robots will do the main job of transferring information, and teachers will be like assistants. Intelligent robots will read students' faces, movements, and maybe even brain signals. Then they will adapt the information to each student. Okay, let's stop here and think. What are we getting here? We're seeing this expert, Anthony Selden, giving us a pretty extreme view that robots are going to completely take over the classroom in 2027. I wonder if this is the author's view as well. Let's see. It's not a popular opinion, and it's unlikely robots will ever have empathy and the ability to really connect with humans like another human can. Let's take a note at the end of this paragraph. No, robots will probably not completely take over the classroom, and this is the author's opinion. But there is some room there for what robots can do, and I imagine that's what the author is going to tell us about. Let's continue reading. One thing is certain, though. A robot teacher is better than no teacher at all. In some parts of the world, there aren't enough teachers, and 9 to 16% of children under the age of 14 don't go to school. That problem could be partly solved by robots because they can teach anywhere and won't get stressed or tired or move somewhere for an easier, higher paid job. Here we see the author is saying robots can teach. And why don't we put them as teachers where teachers don't want to be? That's a nice idea. We can write a note on the side. Robots can teach where there are no teachers. So they're not going to take over the classroom, but they can teach. Those negative aspects of teaching are something everyone agrees on. Teachers all over the world are leaving because it's a difficult job and they feel overworked. Perhaps the question is not, will robots replace teachers, but how can robots help teachers? Let's stop and take a note here. He changed the question, this author. And we see that they're not going to replace the teachers, they can help. Let's see how. We can write a note on the side, robots can help teachers. Let's continue reading. Office workers can use software to do things like organize and answer emails, arrange meetings, and update calendars. Teachers waste a lot of time doing non-teaching work, including more than 11 hours a week marking homework. If robots could cut the time teachers spend marking homework and writing reports, teachers would have more time and energy for the parts of the job that humans do best. So here we see the author giving us examples of how robots can help teachers. So what is the author trying to tell us about robot teachers? Robot teachers can help teachers. They can help us where there are no teachers, and they can help teachers grade homework and write reports so that teachers can be more creative in the classroom and build connections with their students. So if we look at our notes, we can see that the topic of the text is robot teachers. We have the main idea of the text, robot teachers can help teachers. And we saw that the author gave us some nice examples to support that main idea. Now we've understood the text and we're ready to start working with it further. So what have we done here today? We took notes to help us understand the text. We stopped and we thought about our notes to figure out what the author is trying to tell us. And in the end, we understood the text and we saw how the various parts of the text work together. If we need to come back to this text to work on a Maman seminar paper or study for an exam, the text is ready for us to use. I hope you can use this the next time you read a text. Thank you very much.